Hey, this is Danny from Scare Talk. Before we get into all the horror greatness, I gotta let you know about Anchor. Anchor is the host site that we use to record our podcast. Anchor will upload your podcast to Apple and Spotify and many other listening platforms. Anchor is completely free, and you can download the app or go to the website, anchor.fm, and you can record straight on there. There's also some cool editing tools that you can use. Did I mention that it's free? Yeah, so if you want to make a podcast, Anchor is the way to go. Go check it out. Now, for the spooky stuff.
Welcome to Scare Talk, a horror movie podcast for horror fans. This podcast will cover horror movie reviews, ratings, and rankings. Now for your hosts, Danny and Joel.
Yeah, this is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and I am here with Jumanji Joel.
Hey guys, what's up? Oh man, Jumanji Joel.
Yeah. All right, so we are going to start a little mini series of movies here. We have the Conjuring films to get through. We're not going to do the whole universe. We're just going to do the Conjuring films. Leading up to...
They have another Annabelle movie at some point. We'll do those, but...
Yeah. Leading up to the Conjuring 3 release. Mm-hmm. All right, so The Conjuring. What was this, 2013?
This, yes, it was
2013,
yeah.
All right.
I believe.
Cool. Joel, who was a part of this?
All right, so this one stars Patrick Wilson. He was in Insidious chapters 1 and 2. Phantom of the Opera, Watchmen, and Lakeview Terrace.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple really good ones that he's done, for sure. And then we've got Vera Farmiga. She was in Running Scared, which is probably my favorite of her movies. The Departed, Orphan, and the series Bates Motel.
Oh,
she plays
okay.
Norman's mom. Yeah. And then we've got Lily Taylor. She was in The Haunting, Leatherface, and Brooklyn's Finest.
Okay.
This was written by Chad Hayes and Carrie Hayes. They did House of Wax, The Reaping, and The Turning, which came out last year.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, like early, like right before the world shut down.
Yeah, like February or something.
Yeah. And this was directed by James Wan of Saw Legacy. The Saw movies. I think he only did like a couple of them. But Saw, Dead Silence, and Insidious chapters 1 and 2. And yeah.
Okay.
So I got a pretty big name in horror directing this one.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
all right. So this one is about some paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren, working to help a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse. Okay, so this one sparked a universe.
It did.
A whole universe.
I think Annabelle came out first, but...
Really?
I think it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was like 2012 or something. But they decided to add that into this universe, I think, with this movie.
I think that's Cap.
Huh? You think that's...
Cap. That's Cap, Joel.
Aren't you using that lingo with me?
No, I just looked it up. Annabelle's 2014.
Oh.
So
okay.
You're capping.
All right. Well, I'm sorry.
My kids use that language, so I have to like use it like just
it's your favorite,
just to mess with people.
Slang.
Oh man, it's good stuff. Okay, so yeah, this sparked the universe. a bunch of films, bunch of spin-offs from it. And, you know, I think deservingly so. It's a good series. So let's get into some positives here, Joel. What do you got?
All right. So first of all, I love the characters of Ed and Lorraine Warren. I love the fact that it's based. I don't know how much inspiration or how based it is in real life.
Yeah,
but it is based in real life. The music is really intense in this movie.
Yes.
The atmosphere
yes.
and the tone
yes.
of this movie is amazing. That alone, I think, is why this movie is R. Because there's really no reason this movie
that's a good
should
point.
have been R.
Yeah,
it's the intensity, I think, of this movie. Of both of them, actually. The second one is also R for unknown reasons.
Paranormal reasons.
Yeah. I love the acting, and that clapping game is really intense, and they don't overuse it. They use it just enough times to where it's, you know, they use it 3 times in this movie.
Yeah, something like that.
And each time it's done, especially the second and third. The first time they're just playing around. Yeah. Which
it introduces you to what the game is, you know?
Yeah. They probably shouldn't have played that game the first night they were in this 2-story house.
It'd be hard.
It's not exactly the best game to play for the person that's trying to find you.
Yeah, that would be really hard.
It's like, that's bad parenting right there. Like, you know, you guys need to stay on the first floor if you're going to do that.
You know, it would be funny if there was like a, you know, because they're making another scary movie.
Well, of course they are.
And so what would be funny is if they're playing that game and the person
falls.
Like they're upstairs and they just start walking, trying to find, they just roll down the stairs. That'd be funny.
I know. I'm surprised it wasn't used, because I think they made like 2 more scary movies after, or at least 1 more after the first Conjuring movie came out. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Like on the roof, like falling off the roof or something.
Yeah. But other than that, it's an intense game.
Yes.
Once you have the layout of the house, more. And I really like the story of it too. This was, when it was in theaters, was in my, I don't know, especially as far as movies I saw in theaters, was like one of the scariest ones I saw in theaters.
Yeah.
When this one came out, it was really intense, and just, you know, you don't need blood and gore to convey your story. Like, it's cool to have every once in a while, but it's not necessary. No, especially for a movie like this. And they don't have any blood or gore. I mean, there's some scenes of blood in there, of course, but, you know, it's not overly done or anything. Yeah. It's not R-rated, R-ratedly done.
Right. There isn't really any language either that I can.
No, there's not. Yeah, they don't really swear in this one either. It's like, it's definitely a PG-13 movie in an R rating. Yeah, like and I like that for people who are like, I don't find PG-13 movies scary. Well, this is basically it. Yeah. For people that think like that, it just has that R rating to it. Right. But, and the mom getting possessed, like I was saying, I think the acting is great in this movie. Yeah. And her getting possessed was really intense. Yeah. At the end there. Yeah. It's like, wow. All right.
Yeah. That's the possession stuff. You know, that usually kind of gets me in general. It kind of freaks me out. But this one does it so well. Like her voice and stuff. Like sometimes with, like, you know, the possession movies, their voice can be just pretty ridiculous. When they're possessed, they can just like have this crazy voice. She had like
She had her own voice.
Her own
voice,
but it was like
it was deeper.
Yeah, it was like tweaked a little bit, and it sounded real. You know, it didn't sound like it was like computer generated or made in a studio or something.
Yeah.
Which made it really terrifying.
Yeah, it did. It definitely did. So yeah, that's about it. I pretty much covered it for me.
Yeah. So for me, like you said, the music, the atmosphere, this movie has like a classic horror feel to it, especially with the music. And like when that title screen comes up, the Conjuring, it like shows it from the bottom of the screen going up, and the music playing with it. It's like, okay, it's a Conjuring film, like it almost kind of has that stamp right there, love that. And that's like throughout the creepy scenes, they got that good atmospheric music. The hide and clap game was perfect. They introduce you to it. It's basically hide and seek. But the person who is
claps.
The person who it's like Marco Polo, pretty much, but you're not in the pool, and it's clapping instead of Marco.
Yeah.
So that just really made for some intense scenes later in the movie with the clapping. So that was really good.
That closet scene. I've seen this movie a dozen times at least. And going back and rewatching this movie again still gets me at some points. Like that closet scene when she's playing the clapping game. It doesn't really have a name. It's just a clapping game.
No, they call it hide and clap.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they actually say that in the movie.
Oh, okay. Hide and clap. Yeah. I mean, hide and seek is also pretty on the nose too.
Yeah.
But that whole like closet scene where she goes into the room and she like hears the breathing.
Yeah.
And she goes clap, and you hear like you actually see the hands in the closet and it claps.
Yeah, right like, by her ears. Oh my gosh.
This is like just messing with her right now.
And that was the other thing I wanted to talk about a little bit. Would these like demons or whatever, would they just be like messing with people like this? Do you think that's because the ultimate goal was to possess the mom to kill the kid? But would it just kind of mess with you a little bit to just have some fun, or is that
Well, I think we talked about this in one of our other episodes, where it's basically like, you could easily just possess someone.
Yeah.
But I think the more you scare someone, the easier it is to get inside that person. You have to like
break them down first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they're just having fun with them right now, just to scare them into it getting easier
to weakness
to get inside.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's like Freddy. The more you fear him, the easier it is for him to get you.
Yeah, exactly. That's how demons work.
Yeah, there you go. Just answered that question. Cool.
Yeah. There you go.
So there's a couple of scenes that I really like. There's a scene where one of the girls wakes up because she's getting like tugged on her leg. And I think this is like the second time that this has happened to her. And she wakes up, she's kind of looking around. And it's a pretty long scene where there's not much music going on. It's just kind of her looking around, looking under the bed, looking throughout the room. And as the viewer, you see that she was like tugged on the leg. Yeah. And so there's something there. And so you're just kind of waiting for what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then her sister wakes up and she's like, what's going on? And, they're trying to figure it out. And then the girl who woke up first, she's like looking in the corner of the room behind the door. And she's like convinced that someone is standing there.
Yeah.
The acting is so good. The kids did a really good job.
Yeah, they did.
And
that's hard to come by. But there's been quite a few lately in the last like 10 years or so that it's been the kids acting that's really saved the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is definitely one of them. I mean, this didn't need saving, but if these kid actors were bad, it would have hurt the movie.
Sure. Yeah.
Quite a bit.
But yeah, just her acting in that scene, it was so convincing. And I'm like looking like, what? I don't see anything there. What is she talking about? But she's like so convinced someone's standing there. And her sister goes over to like look, doesn't see anything, but she's standing right in the spot. Yeah. And her sister's
right
like,
behind you.
Yeah, it's right behind you. And then the door slams. And I'm like, oh man, this is so awesome.
Yeah.
Just like so much tension building and suspense building, and you're just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
And it was like just so good.
In that moment, like I don't know why it was just her that was freaking out and screaming when the parents came in. Yeah. Because the girl that was in the corner
I'd be freaked out too. Yeah. She was like, what? Like it was just a gust of wind.
Yeah, that's all. That slammed the door. It's like she's she should have I don't know. She should have been a little more scared than that one than she actually was. Yeah. It's like but yeah, that whole scene was really good.
Yeah.
Because it was her that was like right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if anything, it should have been her that was screaming and freaking out.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, there was that scene. There's another scene where I'm trying to remember what leads up to it. I want to say that one of them is sleepwalking, and kind of like she had been sleepwalking a couple of times before in the movie, and she like kind of walks into the like closet thing, and she's kind of like bumping into it, and her sister like puts her to bed and like, oh, let's go to sleep, and she's kind of puts her in bed, and then she like sits up and then looks up and like says like there's someone there or whatever, and then there's this lady like perched on top of the closet. Oh my gosh. That freaked me out. Oh my gosh, that was so good. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Even I've seen this a few times, and that part still gets me.
Sleepwalking is definitely a theme in these Conjuring movies.
Yeah.
Because there's sleepwalking in the second one, too.
Yeah, there is.
I wonder if there's going to be any in the third one.
Yeah, probably.
That's going to be a completely different style of movie, though.
Yeah, I think so, too.
We'll see how that one goes.
And then I have another scene. So the Warrens, their daughter, is at home, and stuff starts happening to her. And so she's getting freaked out, and she goes into a room, and there's this. Was there a lady sitting there? Yeah, there's like a lady with the Annabelle doll. Yeah, and she's like brushing her hair or whatever, and like it's just the tension is so good, and there's someone sitting there and brushing Annabelle's hair. And then, like, the Warrens get home trying to, like, figure out what's going on. And they're trying to get into the room. And then the chair just, like, turns around real quick and, like, just launches at her. Like, man.
Yeah.
So good. Such good stuff. Yeah, this movie just has so many memorable moments.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely does.
So there's that, just those standout scenes for sure. You know, there's parts in movies, especially like demon or ghost movies or whatever, where someone will get like dragged across the floor or whatever. That happens kind of a lot these days. This one does it really well though. The mom, or is it the mom? I can't remember who gets like drug around the living room for a while, and then they have to like cut the hair.
That's one of the daughters.
Is that one of the daughters?
Yeah, that was one of the daughters.
She gets like dragged around for a while.
Yeah,
like,
she does.
Man.
Just thrown around.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, she gets like picked up by her hair. Yeah. Yeah.
Because the girls can see like her hair being lifted.
Her hair being lifted.
Like, what's going on? And she gets like, slammed against the wall.
Yeah. Oh,
Nightmare on Elm Street style.
Yeah. That was rough, man. That was so good. And the when the possessed mom like hovers up in the chair, you know, she kind of starts floating up in the chair and like flipping around. Yeah, just the possession stuff. The mom did such a good job.
Yeah, she did.
So yeah, I mean, I can go on and on about this one. I remember liking it. I've only seen it maybe 3 times. The third time being just recently. I remember liking it. I saw it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
But this third time watching it, I really liked it this time. I
Nice.
remember liking it before, but not to the level I liked it this time. So
Yeah.
I can see why so many movies were made based off of this.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, I can too. This was definitely the start of like the modern horror, like the really good modern ghost story.
Yeah.
type movie.
Another thing, like just about the Warrens, you know, they're likable characters. You like them and their relationship with each other. You care about them. It's kind of like a good versus evil story. You know, they're the good. They try to help people and stuff. A lot of times, horror is just there are people and then there are villains. It's not as good versus evil as it could be. This one is very much good guys and bad guys. You know? And you want the good guys to win. You want them to win. You hate the evil parts of the movie, and a lot of times in horror, you kind of want the bad guys to win. You know, not in this one though. I didn't feel that way.
Yeah, no. For the most part, I am because it really doesn't happen as much as it should. Where the bad guy does end up winning in the end. Like it's just it's something that it leaves an unsettling in you that I enjoy most of the time. Yeah. But for stories like this, especially if they're based on true stories, like. You kind of want the good to prevail at the end there.
Right. And I definitely did. And, I was ready for the good to prevail,
Yeah.
So, it's kind of a hard watch. If you are scared easily, this will get you for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely, I mean, like I said, I've seen it probably a dozen times at this point in 8 years that it's been out.
Yeah.
And there's still scenes that still get me, that still creep me out, and I'm not quite over this movie yet. So.
Okay,
I'm not dead to this movie.
Yeah. And then some of the camera work is really good. I have to mention that. There are times when it's like upside down, and you do like a little flip here and there, and there's a lot of like fluid camera work where it's like. It's like the one shot type of camera work where you're like following a character. There's no like cuts and changes to cameras. It's one fluid motion. I always like that kind of stuff. It brings
I love that.
A realness to the movie. There's definitely some of that in this. So definitely
for sure. There is. Yeah, the camera work is pretty good in this one. Yeah, for sure.
All right, you ready to try to come up with a negative here?
So it's hard. With this is a really good movie. It was hard to come up with something negative to say about it. And my negative is really, it's not like a huge negative. It's very minimal, I guess. The thing that I find the scariest when it comes to like ghost stories and stuff. I think I've told you this before. It's like, I've seen many like YouTube videos and just videos of like ghost sightings or whatever from people. And it's always the smallest thing that the cameraman never really catches. Yeah. That something happens in the background. The subtlety is what I love the most about, like, it's not in your face. It's not, here I am type of thing. Yeah. Having said that, because this is based on a true story, I felt like the thing that was lacking the most in this type of a movie, and I most likely, I'm definitely talk about this in the second one as well, is subtlety. Like you were saying, the girls getting thrown around the room. Yeah. There's nothing subtle about that. And I get it. You can't really have an entire movie where like something happens in the background and that's it.
Yeah.
That's a paranormal activity movie.
Yeah.
And, you know, they made a bunch of them, but, you know, they weren't the greatest. So you have to have some in your face type of non-subtlety to your horror movies to really make a lasting impression.
Yeah.
Having said that, though, it is a con for me just because this is based on a true story.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure how much of it is based on a true story. But the non-subtlety felt very Hollywood to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still like one of the scariest movies, modern horror movies that I've seen, especially in theaters.
Yeah.
But I do have to say that the subtlety is probably the biggest negative that I have.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Maybe some build up with some more subtle stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there is some subtle stuff, but most of it is pretty abrupt and, you know.
Yeah, I was like, I wrote this part down. I was like, after the first hour, there's nothing subtle about this movie. No. Like, after that first hour, it's like, all right, well, the ghost is here.
Yeah. Not messing around.
Yeah.
Is that all you got?
That's all I mean, this is a really good movie. Besides that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so for me, there's a scene where there's like a bunch of birds flying around.
Mm-hmm.
The whole cliche thing with the bird flying into the window. Like,
thank you, Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah. That happens so much now.
It does.
In movies. What's weird is the first time that I can remember seeing that and learning about that, the omen, the bad omen of the bird was, this is so random, and I'm sure I don't know why this movie stands out to me, but it's Blair Witch 2. The Book of Shadows.
The best one of the series.
I really liked that movie back when I saw it. But I
enjoyed it too. I
remember a bird flying into a window and them talking about how that's like a bad omen. And I don't know why that's the movie that I relate to or think back on whenever I see that. And I've seen it so many times since. So yeah, I'm just kind of done with that stuff. And the birds didn't really look real when they're all like flying around the house. Like it kind of looks silly. So I would say that part. Also so maybe I didn't understand it completely. I don't know, but Lorraine was able to like get the mom to, I'm assuming, remember her like beach day or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what killed the demon.
It brought her back.
Yeah, it brought her back. So then is the demon just gone now? Can the demon not come back and try again?
Hey, once you get kicked out, your demons
can't
have
come
a code.
Back again. Yeah.
I don't know if that's like,
is that like an unwritten rule, or
I have no idea, because they even did that exorcism and that didn't even work.
Right.
It was a whole remember the beach day.
Yeah.
Saying, all right, well, that's cool. And so that was actually going to be a negative of mine, because I was writing these down as I was going, watching the movie, and I noticed that picture, and it felt very kind of out of place from the other pictures that were up there. And I was like, okay, that's a very bright day. That's a very
it's gonna be the used kids later.
the kids, like it focuses so much on that picture at one point.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, the kids haven't aged like a day in this picture. And I was like,
it was like yesterday.
So, yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And so I put that down as a negative. And now as the movie went on, they actually explained the picture.
Yeah. Saying
that, it was the last place they went to before they moved into this house. So I was like, okay, well, this could have been a week ago.
Yeah.
This picture was taken. Recent. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to delete that because it doesn't really apply anymore.
Right.
Because it definitely did feel like a picture that was taken a day or two ago.
Yeah.
With like, how fast kids age and stuff. It's like, that's definitely not a picture from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they explained that, because that was definitely going to be a negative of mine.
So yeah, I just, she remembered the beach day and it brought her back, and then like it was all happy and everybody's hugging, and then it's, the little girl brings her necklace or her bracelet or whatever, and it's just like a super happy ending, which is fine, but it was a little bit of an abrupt ending to go from such intensity to super happiness. Was
so
a
just
little
nothing.
a little quick there. And then I do have that question, like, why are they so happy? The demon can just come back like tomorrow, right? Like, I don't know if there's like a rule against that, or
you demons have to follow the rules.
So yeah. I mean, that's a nitpick too.
Maybe because, like, the house was blessed before the demon exited her, and because of the exorcism, like, this house is no longer a place that you can go anymore.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know. I can't speak for the demons. Yeah.
So. All right. Well, let's grade it.
All right.
What do you got?
This one is going to get a 93.
Okay, I'm going 92.
Oh man,
yeah.
I liked it just slightly more than you.
Yeah, just a little bit. One of the best of the last couple of decades for sure.
Yeah.
Can't argue with it. Now, Conjuring 2, we will discuss.
We will discuss that in the future.
Yes. So yeah, look out for that.
Will it hold up to the first one? Will it not?
We will see.
Yep.
So yeah, look out for that episode coming soon, and then the third one. And within the third Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It episode, we're gonna probably rank them, the three of them. After that one, we're not gonna
have a separate episode for that because there's only 3 of them. So.
Yeah, we'll just talk about it within that episode. So
yeah.
All right. Go find us on Facebook at Scare Talk Podcast, on Twitter at Scare Talk Pod, and on Instagram at Scare Talk. And that is it. This has been Scare Talk.
Sleep tight.
Don't let hide and clap bite.